All right, guys, fun story Friday, right? When I was a kid, pretty young, high school, I befriended Steve Wozniak, right? Now, Steve Wozniak is, super genius, right? He invented the personal computer, and he was the brains behind Apple, okay? And anyway, we became friends. We met each other, we started chatting, we wound up going to some concerts together, and eventually he was like, "Hey, you want to go to these other shows?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." He says, "Call this number," right? And so I called the number thinking it might be his secretary or something like that. And instead, I get this phone, "Hello," right? And I'm like, "Hello. Steve said I could call and get some tickets for the show." And this lady says, "Oh, yeah, no problem. Honey," right? It's his wife. They're in their kitchen, right? And honey, Dave's on the phone. He'd like to get some tickets for the show. And so Steve's like, "Oh, yeah, tell him to go to Will Call." And I said, "Well, don't you think he needs to know my last name?" And she says, "Well, did you ever tell him your last name?" And I said, and I hear him in the background, "It's Rendala," right? So of course he knew my last name. She goes, "If you ever told him anything, he already knows it. That's just who he is." Well, so anyway, I go to these shows. These were Grateful Dead shows, and they were at the Shoreline Amphitheater. And I show up and I'm like, "Hey, Steve, thanks for the tickets." He goes, "What are you doing? Come on, let's go." And he starts taking off running, right? Now, he was pretty fit. He was actually pretty fast. He's not a big guy like me. We were just jamming around through the crowd. But he had a stack of uncut $1 bills, a whole bunch of them. So 4 on a page, fresh from the mint. And we were folding them up and throwing them into the crowd, like $4, $4, $4, right? What I noticed was every one of his airplanes looked exactly different and flew like it was engineered by NASA. And every one of mine was like, "Woo!" And then he'd be like, "They're on to us," and we'd run away. And oh my God, so much fun. The other day I thought, man, it'd be fun to reconnect with that guy. So I looked up his Instagram and came up with like 10 or 12 accounts. And I know that 11 of those are fake. So maybe you hear the story and you remember me, my man. Let's go throw some paper airplanes. Okay, you guys, have an awesome day. It's Fun Story Friday.